Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing out there? Welcome back to Vermont Scale Customs for yet another video of me driving trucks around. This is the yard course that I made, which is kind of like a set of stairs that I sort of wanted to kind of have build, but it actually really is just a small scale crawler course in disguise. Yeah, so video of the SCX18, as I'm calling it. That's not officially licensed or anything along those lines. Although Axial can certainly contact me and talk to me about how I did it if they can't figure it out for themselves. I'm sure they could, but sure, yeah. Anyway, 24 scale based. Just stretched it out with C10 rears up front and Gladiator rears out back. Right now, just running an Emax servo, Tech Micro Komodo, along with a 30 amp Lizard Pro, Bluetooth, really old school Trial axles, like way back when they used to paint them when they came out. So this set's a little bit heavier. However, in this video, this was kind of a shakedown run. I'm not sure exactly at what point or if I even did the whole video with it, but I lost one of the screws from the knuckle, along with the bushing too, the tiny little brass bushing. Cannot find it anywhere, so somewhere laying out there is that part. But anyway, it does really well, articulates extremely well. Obviously the body kind of adds a bunch to it. It's pretty close to 60-40 without the body, and then you throw the body back on, and it kind of, just because there's so much in the back end, it kind of throws it back to 50-50. But it doesn't really bother me too much. It doesn't unload terribly. And it still three wheels pretty well. Even through articulation, it does fine. This was a little bit of a push. I knew it wasn't going to do it. I just wanted to see if I could use the wall to get myself a little further up there, if I could kind of pinch the front tire to see if it would bite, but it ends up kind of pulling itself back. And then where it fell, I don't know, you'll see in a second. I just wanted to capture that it landed exactly the way that it did, and hang on, you'll see. It just stayed right there. I was pretty fascinated by that, so I had to do a quick second of video. That's not my shop in the background, by the way. Nice little sunset. Yep, so back over at the little crawler course. It's got good breakover capability. It seems to just lift and push. I like this line right here just because it's kind of tight against that wall, and it really kind of pushes you right over to the edge. And if you miss that edge, you get diff hung, and then it kind of sets you up for this nice little gap that pretty much reverse required unless you can crawl that wall and get up and over it, which I really don't ever plan on doing with this thing. It's kind of reserved for the little 24 scale comp rigs. Anyway, yeah, I should probably just shut up and let this thing kind of do its deal for a minute. As you notice, I'm running full speed video in this, no slowdown or anything like that. Some of the 24 scale stuff is just tough to do slow down, because it takes like 20 minutes to get like 10 inches in a video, and it's really hard to make that interesting at all. Sometimes I can make it work, but this was something that I wanted to kind of talk about for a second. I'm using basically the rock. If you notice, I'm using front dig, sort of, but in reverse. I'm hooking the wheel, and I'm trying to bring the back end around a little bit so I can line up without oversteering, and then dumping the front and rolling over. And it worked. And I'm also using cut foams in this. Thank you very much. Just sealed. No venting in the tires, no venting in the wheels. I can't remember what foams they are. I know they're RC four-wheel drive, and I'm pretty sure. And if they're not cut foams, I think they're just from the next size tire down or something like that. So there's probably a half a centimeter of airspace. Another nice sunset shot. It was a nice night in Illinois a couple nights ago. Again, that's not my shop. We sold off part of our land, and that guy runs a trucking company, so he built himself a house / shop on 2.5 acres that we parted off. So that's not me, and I don't run a trucking company business. And look at how overgrown my rock course is right here. I've given up on the season. It's all done. I think next year I'll just have to completely pull all of that stuff out of there and completely reweed it and everything else, and put new black stuff down and re-rock it and everything. But anyway, back over to here, doing that line again. I really like this line a lot. It kind of showcases what this thing's really capable of. I think it's the perfect line for it. And yes, I have trimmed the body already a couple times. I have, I think, 3 options right now for what I'm going to try and make this thing look like, or at least just like be able to switch back and forth between those 3 options. But yeah, it just walks right up stuff, you know. It does things, and it does it pretty well. I did eventually go over the other side of this, but I cut it here quickly. Didn't want to waste your time, like I'm wasting it right now. So a little cruise around, showing off the taillights, blah blah blah. Headlights are working, etc. Those diff covers have been changed. Those got swapped out. This was a shakedown run, so yesterday, after discovering that I did somber part of this, I think I did most of this with just one, and you can see it that it's missing out of the right front on the lower. I don't know how much of this video I did without that pin, without that screw on the right front C-cup steering knuckle, and so a lot of this was done with just one on the top, so yay for those axles not falling apart and totally destroying the CV shafts. I just wanted to buzz out to the yard, kind of do a little bit of dirt crawling for a second, again, full speed. Some of that I kind of started bouncing back and forth a little bit between like slow speed and and normal, just because it kind of felt like it fit. But it's a fun little truck, you know. It's got plenty of speed, you know. It's got that Komodo kind of super low end control, but you can just get right on top of it, and it will go as fast as what that gearbox will allow it. I did set up for I got some DJ Crawler pins, some of the fatter, wider ones, the super stickies, and I like those tires a lot. I just don't know if it's going to work for this rig. They're a tough tire to manage, to be honest with you, and I don't know where they fit in and how they fit. I know that they don't fit with this body really well, so I have to kind of set it up with some other setup. And then also too, I don't like those soft foams in there. I think the stiffer foams are going to be the way to go, and I don't know how that's going to work out in the long run. So it always seems like the scramblers are pretty much just like the kind of the way to go on stuff like this. They kind of work so well for so many different kind of setups. I don't know. They've kind of become one of my favorite tires over the last couple of years. So anyway, that's about that. Just kind of doing a little slow scale crawl through. Nice log home shot in the background with a couple of Tacomas, blah blah blah. Anyway, yeah, built another crawler, put a Panda Hobby body on it. There's a course locally in East Peoria, apparently, just outside of, and they do comps, and so that's kind of what I'm going to get into, I think, over the winter time. Keep myself occupied. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you on the next one. See ya.